My name is Zandie Boi, and today I'll be doing a podcast-like review and analysis of the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, which came out last Friday. And this is as of the point of this video, of course. This is season 2, episode 6. It's chapter 14. It's the tragedy, and this will be a spoiler review, of course. And from what I can tell, it seems as though most people are very receptive of this episode, and a lot of people have been praising it, from what I can tell. And so I just feel like quite the outlier in this case because I did not particularly enjoy this episode. I have a few gripes, but in the context of the episode, they're pretty major because of their prominence and the featuring of them, basically. And for some context, my original least favorite episode was season 2, episode 2, The Passenger. That was the one with the frog lady, and she took a bath in that hot spring in that cold winter-like planet. I just thought that episode was kind of bland and a bit unoriginal, honestly. Didn't really, because I think The Mandalorian, it does a really great job of making things seem interesting and really keep you tied to the series and the adventures that Mando and Baby Yoda or Grogu go on. And just that episode in particular didn't really do it for me either. And before that, my least favorite episode was The Gunslinger. Just, again, a bit uninteresting, a bit uninspiring. But as was, just in general, I think the show does a really great job of capturing pretty interesting ideas, making everything seem enticing and intriguing. And yeah, for this episode though, obviously, as I say, it didn't really do it for me. Let's just get right into it, I guess. First off, Boba Fett made his grand, official, formal appearance into The Mandalorian. We saw him briefly in season 2, episode 1, when we saw Cobb Vanth. That was the cameo character of the week, basically. I guess there were 2 cameo characters that week, Boba Fett too, but he basically cameo 5 seconds before the episode ended, basically. But here, it's revealed that basically Boba Fett has been traveling the galaxy to find Mando and retrieve his armor. But the interesting thing about that is that Boba Fett, he name-dropped Cobb Vanth as the previous owner, unofficial owner of the armor. And that's a bit interesting to me because, from what I would assume, Boba Fett could have walked on over to Mos Pelgo and asked Cobb Vanth, "Hey, can I have my armor back, please?" And from what we as the audience could tell, Cobb Vanth, he's understanding of, this is Mandalorian armor, it should belong to a Mandalorian. Yes, the armor did give him power, as we saw in the season premiere of season 2, but it's just that Cobb Vanth, he just seems like a very receptive guy. He just seems as though, he would have given the armor back to Boba Fett, but, Boba Fett, he just waited for Mando to get the armor, and he just started to travel the galaxy to find him, which seems a bit inconvenient, honestly. And also, again, just Boba Fett's backstory is not revealed. It's not really alluded to. How did he survive the Sarlacc pit? Because almost 4 years ago, it's assumed that Boba Fett did not survive the Sarlacc pit. He got consumed by he was digested by it, basically. But now he's made his grand return to Star Wars content. And, retcons they're not inherently bad. Like I was saying 4 years ago, they did not intend for Boba Fett to return at all. But like retcons, not necessarily bad, but like when it involves bringing a character back from the dead and like resurrecting them when it's implied at least that they died, it just seems a bit half-hearted, you know? Like, oh, you thought this character died, now we're going to bring him back. We're going to prove you wrong, basically. And I just don't think that's the correct direction to take Star Wars. Like, just make this shock reveal, like, oh, we thought this character was dead, but they're not really dead, you know? Like, I think I'm a bit concerned, that like they're going to take advantage of that opportunity. Like, you know, this character didn't actually die, and now they're back, and they made their shock return to Star Wars content, basically. And actually, interestingly enough, there was another character who we thought was dead in a previous episode. Actually, it was in the Gunslinger episode, a previous episode that I mentioned. And it was the assassin lady. I think her name was Fennec, and it was assumed that she died. You know, she got shot in the stomach by Mando, and she just fell down. Didn't really make any movement or any indication of motion. She just, you know, laid down there. And it was actually revealed in this episode that Boba Fett, he came waltzing through, you know, aided Fennec back to life, and now Fennec is under the service of Boba Fett because, you know, Boba Fett saved her life, basically. And again, you're reviving characters that are implied to be dead. And again, as I mentioned, is that really the direction that Star Wars should be taken? Should Star Wars be taken in the direction of shock reveals and like basically undermining the previous death, the assumed death of the character? Like with the Rise Skywalker's instance, Palpatine made his grand return as like the spirit that possesses a body that resembles his. I think that's what they're getting on to. Even though like Darth Vader, he threw Palpatine off the railing into that energy shaft, and the energy shaft exploded. So like, it basically undermines everything that Anakin Skywalker did. You know, like he was supposed to balance the Force, and at the end of Episode 6, it's implied that he did that. But now with Palpatine coming back, did he really do that? You know, like just all these false deaths is. I don't think it's the right direction to take things, and I think for this episode especially, it presents something quite alarming in my opinion, and just something that Star Wars should not be taking, basically. The action, which the episode pretty much consisted entirely, essentially, of action and a bit of dialogue. Like the action was okay, nothing mind-boggling or anything like that. It was there's one scene in particular that was interesting. Like I don't think it's inherently bad or good. Where like Fennec, she tried to push this boulder down so that it could crush some stormtroopers, and very Indiana Jonesy, bit unique for Star Wars too. So I applaud the directors of the episodes, like for that reason. But with all the action shots came also something that was a bit bothering visually speaking. They used like this very harsh lighting, and the frame rate was also a bit bizarre because it's like 16:9. Like the bottoms of the screen were cut off, but it was 16:9, and then like the sides, like the vertical sides of the screen were also like, they weren't cut off, but like it was just covered in dirt. Like it was to give the illusion like it's a very sunny and light environment, I think it was trying to do. But like at the end of the day, it was just a bit distracting, and I just think visually speaking too, it's not really make the episodes any better. Like, I think it was a kind of repercussion, really. It did not really interest me, nor did it look all that great either. And also, just in general, it felt very fan-filmy, the entire episode. Like, you have this iconic original trilogy character in Boba Fett. You have this scene, this scenery, where there's very harsh lighting, like something you expect from like a college director, basically, like a college student director, to like present to his, to like his teacher, like this very harsh lighting, which he made with like the school equipment, basically. Even though this is the Mandalorian, this is a Disney property, it should have much better like visuals, basically, and like effects. And with this harsh lighting, it didn't really feel like something from a $1 billion industry. It felt like something from a college setting. As I made clear, contrary to the popular consensus, I do not think this episode was all that great. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I've been Zandie Boi, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.